Hello, this is Josh Minsky, and in this video, I am going to be showing you how to make a text box and label using Pygame and Pygame functions. So let's get into this. Okay, so I have a screen up here. This is for something that I'll show you later, but right now I'm just going to be showing you the basics of how to use a label and text box. So first, before we do anything, you have to, if you haven't done this already, install obviously Pygame and Pygame functions. So basically, and obviously I am using PyCharm, which if you don't have it, download it. It's pretty easy. It takes about 10 minutes. Just search up PyCharm on the internet, and yeah, go to the website. Just download it there. But yeah, if you're gonna be coding using Python, you really need PyCharm. So yeah, if you once you have PyCharm, you're going to go to your terminal and you're going to go pip install Pygame first, and then it should do this, it'll take you about maybe 30 seconds, and then you go pip install Pygame functions, and then yeah, it'll take you about another 30 seconds, and then it should show all this, and done. Boom, you're done. You've installed Pygame functions, so we can actually get on to the video. So now that you've done that, hopefully, um, you actually have to import from Pygame functions. Just this is basically means import all. Just makes it easier. We'll just do that. So, yep. And then this is just creating a screen width and height, obviously. And then this is just saying I want my screen, and then I want the size of my screen to be. Oops, I want the size of my screen to be my screen width and screen height. So I just did this just to make it clear what's going on right here. But this is just that. And then this is filling my screen. It just makes my screen black. You can use this. This is red, blue, and green. You can use this just to change the color of your screen if you want. But I like black, so I'm just gonna leave it as black. And that's why it's 0, 0, 0, because 0 red, 0 blue, 0 green. But now let's get on to the labels. So to create a label, you create, the label you want to name your label, whatever you want it to be, whatever you want the variable to be named. You set it as, and then you say make label. And if you do make label, you should actually be able to see, right? Because it gives you a lot of things. It's like, well, what does this all mean? Like, well, would I know, what it wants in each of these? Basically, all you have to do is you can go make a label, and will show you. It said, first is text, then font size, then X position, then Y position, then font color, then font and background. And the background color is just like, it creates a box around the label. So it's just saying, what do you want that background color to be? So, it's text, font size, X position, Y position, the color of the font, the name of the font, whatever font you want. I just showed Comic Sans. You can search them up if you want. There's tons of different fonts. And then this is the box, the text, or the box color, which I'll show you in a second. And then while you've declared it over here, you've given what you text box. You made a text box, but like sprites and a lot of the other things in Pygame, Python, you have to actually, show it. It's going to be there, but you can't see it unless you actually show it. So to do that, you just say show label. You can do that like show label, and you can click that, and then boom, and then it'll give you like that. And you can just write in the name of your label, which for me was first label. So that's it. And then just click run. Should run, and then boom, enter a word. That's what we wanted. That's our label right there. So let's go back, and then, but obviously we're not going to just be using labels. We want to use text box because text boxes are cool, So let's create a text box. Why not? So we've got a text box. Same procedure with labels. You've got the name, then you are going to make a text box actually, and then same thing. If you want to know, you can just go make text box, and whoops. Oh gosh. Okay, make text box. X position, Y position. Um, so this is X position, Y position, the width of the text box, case. So text, case starting text, maximum length, font, Let's see if we can get this back. And then font size. So let's go back. So this is X position, Y position, width, because for Pygame text box, you can't it doesn't like and a lot of text boxes, it'll just keep on like scrolling the text with you if you go over. For Pygame it doesn't, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. Let's just create make this 100 for a second. And then case, I'll get back to that in a second. And then enter word here, it's just gonna give you like a gray text, to like guide. It's a guide. It's basically a guiding text of what do you want the reader to or the user to enter into there, and obviously we want them to enter a word. Um, and then this is gonna give you the length. If you set to 0, it means it's basically infinite length. If you do 1 or 2 or 100 or 1,000, it's just gonna give you word length. How long can their answer be? And then this is gonna give you font size. So then, just like a label, you have to you have to show it, and you can just show text box, and click enter, and then and then write in whatever the name of the text box you created, and then this is just so you're gonna get this whatever you're gonna get the input from text box, right? But you want to actually, if you want to do something with that, you have to assign it, assign it, make it a variable, right? So this is what we did. We just did entry is our variable name, and then we're going to assign it as a text block input. So again, you can just go text input, and then it will, all you really need to do is just go like that. And yeah, and then you can just enter the text box that you want to get the input from. And that's what's, and then it's gonna assign that variable, and we can do that something with that later, and I'll show you in a second. But first, let's just get the text box. So now we have a text box, right? It's kind of small. It's really small, right? But you can enter stuff in. You can enter lowercase. You can go capitals. You can delete. You can do punctuation. Everything. But the problem is, watch. See, look, it goes off. Text box. Which is not what we want. Because like I'm typing, I can't even see what I'm typing anymore. Like that's not good. That's why width is important with Pygame. Like it's not as responsive as a lot of text boxes. So yeah, so that's why making a longer width. So it's I have to plan that out. What do you want to do with that? But just to be aware of that. And then let's get to case. So case is 0. So case is basically saying, do you want it to be lowercase, uppercase, or do you not care? So 0 means you can enter lowercase and uppercase letters. 1 means you can it will make every single letter lowercase. So if I do this again, right, I'm going to enter, and then I'm trying to make, I'm shifting. I can enter a caps lock, turn caps lock on, and it breaks. So it will make, unless you do caps lock, it will make them all lowercase. But that's just something, it doesn't count for caps lock. So that's something to be aware of. Yeah. Or it's like weird. So I don't really like case. I say just let them use what because you can shift and it works. You enter caps lock, doesn't really work that well. It will stop sometimes. Yeah, but caps. So it's like case is not 100%. So like Pygame functions is not the most amazing to use, but yeah, it gives you the general idea. If you enter this, it should make everything case 2, make everything uppercase. Let's see if we enter caps lock. Yeah, so case 2 works. Case 1 doesn't work as well with if you're able to turn on caps lock. Just something to be aware of. But generally, I'd say just use case 0. It just yeah, I just generally say use case 0. But let's get back to entry. What do we want to do with a text box? I mean, if we have this input, let's do something cool with it, right? So that's what we're gonna do right here. So we have a label. So we just create another label. Second label, we make label, and hold on. And so we have, font size, X position, Y position, color. Now it's white, and then Comic Sans, and then clear just makes that there is no box. So on the other label, you can see there's like a neon green box kind of behind the blue font, but now there's just gonna be no, so it's just gonna be basically black. Um, but for our text, you can see that now we have entry. We don't have, you don't need your parentheses around it. You don't need that, or I mean, quotation marks around it. You don't need quotation marks around it because it's a variable. It's not a text. So you have your text box input, and then you send it entry variable, and you can just put this as your text instead of having a text. You just put this as your text for your second label, and then obviously you have to say show label again, so it actually shows the label on the screen. So if he clicks that, like that, then now we have this, right? But we can't see that, but let's just say hello. Oh, you just click return, and boom, there's our hello label. So that's pretty cool, right? So that's kind of that's basically what you can do with them. But the reason I have this here, this other screen here, is I want to show you something. And I know I just bombarded you with a lot of code right here, but this is something that I've created, or I was working on, and it incorporates text boxes, labels, and all that with it. So I just wanted to show you this a lot more complex version of it, so you can have an idea of some of the stuff that you can do with text boxes and labels. So again, I've screened it, and I actually have a background. There's a background image, and then just so yeah, you can just see it. It's just changing the background to the image. So you can kind of ignore this, but you can kind of recognize this is what we did before. But now we have a label. So this is basically a trivia game. So I'm asking them what number of questions they want, and then I'm gonna be asking them down here, enter the question, and then answers, and then yes. But so you can see, obviously I'm creating labels, and then I'm creating them, and then I'm saying this is because I only want, I'm entering the number of questions, so I only want it to be an integer. So you can just typecast it like this, and then you just say int, and then so that's basically what I did. If you look back over here, that's basically what I did. I just entered int. So it's like, oh, and then I didn't mention this over here, but you can hide labels. So I mean, you can make them basically disappear by just saying hide label and then going around it. So this is gonna make this disappear. So if you want a label to disappear, you can just say hide label and then boom. Uh, yeah. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to ask you a number of questions, and then it's going to say enter, or it's going to give you a pop-up word text, and then once you basically click enter, or return, it's going to hide them both, so you can get them away. So then I can do this, and you can add for loops to it, and you can say for I in range entry. So it's basically saying, for like how many. So maybe I said 5, so it'd be like for so it's gonna start at 0. So I want 0, for through 5. Right, so it's basically just gonna be a for loop. It's gonna iterate maybe 5 times. If I entered, I want 5 questions. So that's just creating this, and then it's gonna ask you what is the question, and then this is just creating a then this is basically just going to be saying I plus what is question. So because I for Python, they all start at 0. So it's going to be saying what is question 0 plus 1, which is 1. Then what is question 1 plus 1, which is 2. So it's just going to be doing that over and over again until it gives you the max number of questions. And, maybe it's 5. So it gives you then what's question 5, and then it's gonna hide down here. Yeah, so you can kind of see that you can kind of do, and the F is just this is a F um, an F string, which just allows you to kind of do stuff like this, where you can enter not just text, but you can have this kind of stuff in here as well. And that's just kind of, but yeah, just something to recognize. Um, so it's gonna show the label and then input box, and then it's gonna simple input box that we were doing right over here, and then it's going to print the input. I just had that print. It was just more for like testing purposes. You don't have to do that. And then same for here. I was just going to enter what is questioned here, blah, 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 blah. answer box, same as up here, basically. It just has another for loop, and then it's gonna give you a game. So I just wanted to show you this, just so you kind of have a more idea of something complex, a lot more complex you can do with this, and kind of how to do that. And it, Pygame functions is a little finicky, but it can create a lot of really cool things. Let's just turn there's sound to this, but you don't need to hear sound. So obviously I have some bugs. This is not the most it's not the most perfect thing, but you can see I've created, there's a label right here, right? And then this is a button. This is something I might create a video about later to show you how to, but here, look. So enter number of questions, right? For this I can um you have to enter numbers, and I've made two because I'm not gonna have 100 questions in there, but say we do 5 questions. I want 5 questions. Then enter, and then boom. So then so basically what it did was it hid the label saying number of questions, and then it hid the text box, and now bring this so it looks like maybe you went to another screen or something, but no, it just hid them. And there's a problem, since I do have a background. I can't, it does create this little black thing, this little black box. It's not the end of the world. It is a little annoying, but it's not horrible. It's just something because Pygame, Pygame functions and Pygame don't really like text boxes, so they're not always the most cooperative. And this is with a clear, so it's a little annoying, but it's okay. It's not that noticeable. But if you enter a question, so I'm just gonna do Q. I mean, you can enter, what is your name if you want, but we'll just do Q1 just to make this more simple. Q1, and then we can do, and this can iterate. It says what is question two, so we can do Q2, then Q3, then Q4, Q5, right? And then A1, A2, right? So it's doing the same thing with the answers. It's iterating. It looks like it's something's happening, but it's just literally it's just it's like hiding the label and then showing a new one, hiding the label then showing a new one, and just all through the for loop, right? And then you can go A3, A4, oops, A5. Right. And then it just hides both labels again, so it looks like something happened, but it just hid the labels, and then it popped up a button, and then boom. And then this is a game, so as obviously meant, so you can like hit things and stuff like that using this, but that's something I might cover a little bit later. But for yeah, that's basically and you can see, I have label, 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 label. And you can do things, so it's like you can do a lot more things with them. That's just kind of something I wanted to show you, just to give you an idea of some of the more complex things you can do with labels, with Pygame and Pygame functions. But yeah, so I hope you liked this video, and yeah, thank you very much for watching.